Outside an imposing mansion stood a nondescript 12-year-old poor black boy named Daniel Thompson. He had just made the most astonishing offer to the multimillionaire within. In exchange for his services, he wanted only her leftovers. Little did the woman inside know that this street-smart kid had just diagnosed her illness. She was too busy laughing at him. I'm Victoria Whitmore, 38 years old, a successful businesswoman who values money, power, and control above all else. The day before, I'd had a psychotic episode. My nurses were out of their minds, but they didn't dare tell anyone. I knew my condition would only worsen if word got out, so I dismissed them and locked myself in my room. That's when I heard a knock on the door. When my maid opened it, she was shocked to see a little black boy there. "I can cure you," he said, extending his hand. "I have a rare gift, one that has been passed down to me through my ancestors. His mother must have sent him to beg. The nerve of some people," I thought, sneering. But then something about the boy's eyes made me reconsider. It wasn't pity, but compassion. Compassion mixed with confidence. I've never seen such a combination in a beggar before. And so I beckoned to him. "What do you want?" "Just your leftovers for lunch and dinner, ma'am." The boy smiled. "Deal," I said, intrigued. The next morning, I found Daniel sitting patiently in the garden. He looked out of place amongst the manicured bushes and sparkling fountains. Yet he seemed comfortable. After we ate, I tried to engage him in conversation. "Do you go to school?" "Yes, ma'am," he replied politely. "Me too." I asked him about his teachers and classmates. He told me he was in 6th grade and had won first prize in the national science competition. This was too much for my pride to swallow. Over the next few days, I watched him closely. He was a sponge, soaking up knowledge from every book he could get his hands on. Then he started coming up with questions that surprised me. He wanted to know what caused my paralysis, how my accident happened, and why my husband left me. How does a street kid know so much? I wondered. He must have been watching me, but how much had he learned from his observations? What did he know? My mind raced. Meanwhile, Daniel was studying me intently, noticing the slightest changes in my behavior, the tiniest flicker of emotion on my face. He talked to my nurses and doctors, listening intently and nodding thoughtfully. Afterwards, he would visit my room, sit at the edge of my bed and observe me for hours. Sometimes he would ask me questions, but most of the time he would just stare. It was unnerving, yet strangely comforting. I couldn't help but feel a sense of trust towards the boy. At night, Daniel would return to his room, which had been set up for him in the guest house. He would spend hours poring over books, writing notes, and making sketches. Then he would come back to my room and sit by my bed again, continuing his silent vigil. I felt exposed, as though he could see right through me. And he could. He was trained to observe and listen, an expert in body language. He understood my every move, my every twitch, my every sigh. One day, I tried to trick him. I told him to stand up and walk. "Stand up and walk," I challenged. "You're right, Victoria. Primera, caeme. Walk? Why should I bother pretending to be lame when I don't have to?" "You're a fraud." My blood ran cold. Did he know I faked my paralysis? How much did he know? Why did he pretend to be cured? Was he testing me? I was too scared to ask. Then came to cope the heresy. "You didn't have an accident. Your husband pushed you down the stairs after you killed him. He didn't die. He went to jail. Now, he's dead. They found his bones in the woods." Daniel was just getting started. That evening, I tried to call the police, but Daniel was faster. He disconnected the phone. He then called my husband's lawyer, Dr. Patricia Williams. "He's here, doctor." "Please come quickly. Victoria is having a psychotic episode. She's attacking her nurses, and she says she wants to kill me." "She doesn't remember doing any of that," Daniel said calmly. "She's conscious and faking it." "Victoria? Do you think I should tie you up?" "No, no need," I whispered, terrified. Soon, the authorities arrived and took me away. Before leaving, Daniel turned to me and commanded, "Stand up, Victoria." With trembling legs, I rose from my wheelchair. Daniel continued, "You're a fraud, Victoria. You faked your paralysis to collect insurance money. You murdered your husband and falsified your medical reports. You're guilty of fraud, murder, and insurance money." I wanted to scream, but no sound escaped my lips. Daniel played videos and recordings of me confessing to the crimes. He showed documents proving that I faked my accident and that my wealth was stolen. He exposed everything. My whole life was ruined in seconds. Afterward, the police searched my house and found enough evidence to charge me with several crimes. I was taken away in handcuffs. My head hung in shame. My once luxurious life was over. My fortune was seized and donated to charity. As for Daniel, he was accepted into Harvard University at the age of 14, where he continued his studies and healed the sick. His grandmother, Ruth, used the money from my donation to open a community center, teaching new generations the importance of wisdom, courage, and integrity. This story teaches us that no matter how privileged or powerful someone is, wisdom, courage, and integrity will always prevail. If you liked this story, subscribe for more. Each story has a powerful moral that will inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Stay tuned for more adventures of young geniuses. This poor 12-year-old black boy was homeless and hungry, so he went to this rich lady's house. "If I cure your illness, you can give me some food," he said. But the rich lady was so arrogant that she just laughed at him. She thought she was smarter than a street kid, so she challenged him. "If you really think you can cure me, do it." Then she showed him her wheelchair. "I've spent $15 million on doctors, but none of them could help me." "What makes you think you can?" This girl had everything: beauty, money, looks, but she was very bitter and resentful. She was proud and arrogant, and she was afraid to let people in, because she thought they just wanted her money. That is why she lived alone in a big mansion. But one day, a poor 12-year-old boy named Daniel Thompson knocked on her door. He was skinny, and his clothes were dirty. He looked like he hadn't eaten in days. But what he lacked in looks, he made up for in compassion and intelligence. You see, Daniel was not an ordinary kid. He was raised by his grandmother, Ruth, who was a wise woman in their community. She taught him about their ancestral healing knowledge and how to observe people and listen to their stories. She also taught him how to defend himself and stand up for what's right. Daniel was just 12 years old, but he was already a mini version of his grandmother. He was sharp and observant, and he knew how to read people like a book. When he saw Victoria for the first time, he knew there was something wrong with her. He could tell that she was faking being paralyzed, and he knew that she was hiding something. That's why when he offered to cure her, she laughed at him. She thought he was just another beggar or scammer trying to get money out of her. But Daniel was not giving up. He was determined to help Victoria.